Alright. Oh, damn it. Hang on. We're doing the theme song. I gotta figure out the new way to do XSplit because it's a little bit new, so hopefully this goes well.
I like this one.
I was trying to go for the real game.
You didn't get it. I mean, I was just staring off in his face.
You were stoned.
You know what, Jack? It's no problem.
I live in
I
Colorado
mean, I have to say,
or
when I
Washington
heard
or Alaska.
that, people actually watch this show, I was...
Alright, what's up, everybody? We are the Sports and Shenanigans podcast.
Sports and Shenanigans, he says.
Yes.
And
Make
for
it a little bit bigger.
And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we should probably have given the warning ahead of time. There is swearing in this podcast.
Yes, there's quite a bit of unfiltered swearing that
So
occurs.
if you have a 6-year-old in your car right now, tell her to put on the earmuffs.
Hey, alright, so
What do we have in store for us tonight?
tonight we are going to get a little more shenanigans going on than we have been because we've been going way overboard with the sports recently, but we'll touch on a little bit of that. Do you have your notebook or whatever so we can look at the bracket and see if we still agree with our picks
Yes.
for the playoffs? So, as we all know, the Bengals dominated the Broncos in quite a surprising fashion.
Yep, 4 interceptions by Eli Manning.
Eli,
Peyton.
Peyton.
Yeah, he looked like Eli Manning out there.
Yeah, that was a pretty surprising upset.
How many times did he get sacked?
I don't know. He was having a rough game, man.
He was.
I feel bad for him a little bit, but
Alright.
I don't think it will be too long lasting because he's got balls of steel. So
Well, I still think the Broncos can beat the Steelers or the Bengals, unless the Steelers have an awesome night. So,
yeah. Though we have the Ravens going up against the Colts. Do you still think the Ravens are going to make it, or do you think it's going to be the Chargers now?
I still think it's going to be the Ravens, because the Chargers have to win this week, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what their game is. We should probably pull it up.
Alright. I'll stop being lazy and pull up this information for you people that probably already have it in front of you. Okay, but I actually want to know. So, sit tight, people.
Oh, man, I can't change the res now. I should have done it before.
San Diego.
I guess we could go over,
they're playing Kansas City in Kansas City.
Oh. Does KC still have a playoff hope?
I don't think so.
They did win this last game. We'll figure that out. What we should do is we should go over the last week. We should go over our surprises and our pleasantly surprised about blank performance or blank game, and disappointed with blank team or blank player or something like that. Okay, so we can do that afterwards. But so we got Colts and Ravens. You're still feeling the Ravens. I'm not feeling the Saints anymore on the NFC side of things, cause
it's either the Saints,
the Falcons, right?
the Falcons, or the Panthers, and the Panthers just beat Cleveland.
Let's pull it all up again, man.
You know what?
I don't want the frame rate to drop on my thing, or I would make a little screen region to show everybody. I guess I can. Fuck.
Alright, I got it right here. Check it out. Alright, so here's the standings. Can you even see that?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit visible. Put it maybe a bit closer. But alright, so what do we got here?
Yeah, you can. You know what? That's a point.
It's too blurry or whatever. So forget that shit.
Okay.
We'll just explain it to you.
Well, how it stands, it looks like the Bengals and the Steelers are in. Colts, Broncos. So yeah, okay. So it's the Chargers or the Chiefs, and right now the Chargers look like they're in the lead. So I'm starting to think it's going to be the Chargers, but
if they can pull it off against the Chiefs, because the Chiefs probably don't have too big of a motivation to win. other than to make their fans happy at home, you know. So we'll see. The Chargers are good at choking, so they're like, what's that joke? Is like, there's like a Tony Romo action figure thing on Reddit, and it's like, warning, choking hazard or something like that.
Well, it could still end up being the Ravens, because I think we figured the Chiefs and the Chargers would both be out. Because right now the Chargers and the Ravens are both 9-6. So who are they playing? San Diego's playing in Kansas City. Baltimore's playing Cleveland in Baltimore. So right now,
I guess we got to go with the Ravens on that one, because I feel like that's a little bit more of like a gimme game.
It is. Even though Cleveland's been playing fairly well, they've had their issues.
Yeah, especially lately.
Yeah, and with Manziel, I'm not a believer in Manziel right now. Johnny Football needs another.
He needs another high-paying contract, big dollar.
At least
to incentivize and motivate him.
Yeah, give him a season of starting, and then maybe he'll be okay. He's not one of those quarterbacks that can just come on the league and dominate like RG3 and Kaepernick did the year before. And
so, all right. So we're sticking to our guns on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Now on the other side, Saints and Cardinals. Are you still feeling that setup? And then Cowboys and Lions.
Saints and Cardinals.
I think Cowboys Lions is for sure, and I think Cardinals are for sure where they're supposed to be. But now we have to talk about the infamous NFC South.
Jesus, that would suck to be in that division. You know what? Actually, it'd be great to be in that division. If you had to pick.
Yeah, too bad the Dolphins don't get qualified to be in that one.
Yeah. No, I was kind of hoping the 49ers would, too. If the 49ers were in that division, we'd be in the playoffs. All right, so we might have clinched it already at 7-8. All right, so the Panthers are 6-8-1. And the other two teams are 6-9 that we were talking about, the Falcons and the Saints. So who are they playing to see if we're still accurate? Cleveland, well, we already know those. Jets at Miami. Miami's gonna whoop the Jets' ass. I hope so, anyway.
Yeah, the last time the Dolphins played, actually, that was a pretty crazy way. Did you see how that game ended?
Nuh-uh.
So it was tied 35-35, and the Vikings go to punt out of their end zone with like 45 seconds left in the game. The punt gets blocked, and it just soars out the back of the end zone, and the Dolphins get a safety and win.
Yeah, that's right. Touchdown or a safety, and you win. That's right.
It was pretty funny, but
it was awesome how both of our teams went to overtime and almost won. 49ers almost screwed up the Chargers' chances to make it in.
Yeah. So
and Miami got to play the role of spoiler. But to answer our question before, how it's working for NFC South, you got Carolina playing in Atlanta. So let's say Atlanta wins that. Then Atlanta's gonna be 7-9. Carolina will be 6-9 with the tie somewhere. And those poor Saints have to play.
Who has the better divisional? Doesn't Atlanta have the better divisional right now?
You mean if they tie?
Yeah.
Between Atlanta and the Saints division, yeah, right now Atlanta's 5-0 in their division. Holy crap!
That's where all their wins are from. That's pretty awesome. So, are we giving this one to Atlanta now? Then
I don't know. The Saints got to play Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but
that's it.
But we're talking about does Atlanta win against Carolina here?
If Atlanta beats Carolina. Well, I guess if all three teams win, if the Panthers, Falcons, and Saints all somehow win their, well, they can't because the Falcons are playing the Panthers. Okay, so
if the Panthers win this, they win, right? With 7-9-1, they actually win the division because they have the half a game to put them over the top.
7-9.
So we're just all we need to really talk about is the Saints or the Panthers and the Falcons because the Saints can't win anymore.
Yeah, Saints are out of it, huh?
Yep. So who are we saying out of the? Are we changing the Falcons or the
Falcons?
Yeah.
Crap.
I'm gonna say the Falcons. Since they're at home and they have a 5-0 divisional, I think they can clutch it out. If not, I won't be super like downtrodden or surprised. But yeah.
And Carolina just beat What was it?
Yeah, they clutched out a game against a better opponent. I remember that. Oh yeah, that's the Browns. That's right.
Yeah.
So I would consider the Browns to be better than the Panthers right now, but I don't think that they take this game away against their divisional opponent that's apparently stomped them this year anyway.
Well, I think we had picked the Saints to get in and beat the Cardinals because they're on their third string quarterback. If the Falcons get in, you think they're still going to beat the Cardinals, or do you think the Cardinals would beat them? They're not as tested.
I think the Falcons still win that at home because they're at home. They get to play against a wild card team, so they get the home field advantage again. They get to stay in Atlanta the entire time, practice on their own field, and I think they still win.
Atlanta's only 3-4 at home, so being the home team doesn't give them that much of an advantage.
But they get a whole week at home. Like, they don't have to fly anywhere, you know?
Yeah, that would be helpful. I'm gonna
The Cardinals don't always look shitty either, you know? Like, they look okay at times, even if they are on their third string, fourth string quarterback, wherever they are.
Yeah, it's not
right
their
now.
Quarterback that wins them games. All right, if the Saints had made it in, I think Drew Brees has the playoff experience to beat the Cardinals being on a third string quarterback. If Atlanta gets in, even though I like those guys, I'm gonna give the nod to the Cardinals.
Okay. So you're going to say Cardinals take it now.
I'm saying Cardinals beat Atlanta.
Okay. So now we're going to disagree because I say Atlanta wins that. Now, that means that they would go up against the Packers. Whoever won that game goes against the Packers. Packers stomp either of those teams, right?
Agreed.
All right. Especially because they're going to be at home. Now.
Cowboys and Lions, we still looking good on that?
Yeah, Cowboys and Lions. And we're seeing the Lions go into... Oh, God. We like said the Lions because we think Romo will choke. I think me and Zach overrided you.
That wouldn't surprise me. Well, and also, I was kind of thinking that with DeMarco Murray with his broken hand and all.
See, the one thing that I have to say, though, is the Cowboys haven't, like... They've gone up against what some would say are better opponents quite a lot and actually won this year. Or, like, just as good as them, or, like, definitely top 50% opponents in the league. And they've come out on top almost every time, or more times than not. So they're at least not choking against good teams. And their good record is pretty legitimate this time around.
Yeah, you know, and I think we were rooting for the Lions, really, because not only were we worried about Tony Romo choking, but also... You've got Matthew Stafford, who's got a gun. He's not a great quarterback, but he's got a gun and he's a good quarterback.
He puts up a lot of numbers, but he can make those bad interception throws too.
Right, but what he does have on his team is he's got Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate to throw the ball to.
Sure.
And Golden Tate's got experience winning Super Bowls.
Well, they check how highly rated the Lions offense is, because I have a feeling that it's actually pretty good.
I bet you it's pretty good too. But the trick is, okay, well, let's say it's either going to be Lions or Cowboys going against the Seahawks. So now we've got either Golden Tate going up against his old team, which will be an awesome storyline.
Yeah.
Or you've got the Cowboys who, if DeMarco Murray's healthy, can run the ball. And that's really the only way to beat Seattle because you can't get him through the air. Even as good as Tony Romo and Des Bryant are.
They have, like, really good, what's it called?
Cornerbacks, yeah. Seattle
backfield.
Yeah.
I think it's called.
What was I looking at?
The Lions' offensive rating. All right, so now I'm going to skip back to the AFC semifinals. We have the Colts going into the Patriots, and we said Patriots. I think we're still going to hold on that one. The Steelers going into the Broncos. Do you still feel the same way about that one? We said Broncos make it through. I actually am starting to think the other way around, maybe.
I'm starting to believe in the Steelers,
depending
too.
on how the Steelers play against the Bengals, I might give it... I think we have to give that one time. If the Steelers perform against the Bengals, I think they'll have proved themselves to, like, be worth a vote of confidence, you know?
If the Steelers beat the Bengals and the Broncos, then the Steelers have a chance of beating the Pats. And right now, I think the Steelers are the only team that have a chance of beating the Patriots anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So this could very well be a Steelers-Cowboys Super Bowl.
Steelers-Cowboys or Steelers-Seahawks?
Steelers-Cowboys. It could happen. Because, like I said...
Is that like a really old-school rivalry or something like that?
It must be. Because remember, right now, the three teams in the NFL that have the most Super Bowl rings franchise-wise The Steelers have got 6, and the Cowboys and Niners both have 5.
Patriots have what?
4? Yeah, and so do a lot of other teams.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is gonna be interesting because, yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough to just because remember I was saying that we should go over what team was the most impressive in the last week.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Seattle might have been the most impressive team. They are going against kind of a weakened Arizona team, but they made them look like they don't belong in the NFL.
Yeah.
Even with Marshawn Lynch having morning after sickness. He's gonna be pregnant. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out in the off season that he's gonna pop a little Lynchy out. Lynch Jr. Even though he was
all I can
sick,
think of is Junior, the one with Danny DeVito
Arnold
and Arnold
Schwarzenegger was pregnant. Yeah.
You got Marshawn Lynch coming out there, standing next to, holding hands with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
you know how the offensive linemen, they got a big old belly and their jersey oftentimes rides up and you can kind of see their midriff. He's just playing next season. He's like, oh, I don't need to take my paternity leave yet. And he's just playing on the field, just got his midriff showing, it's poking out of his jersey. People are like, you really shouldn't be taking all these huge hits from 250-pound linebackers with a baby inside of you, Marshawn. He's like, I know what's best for my child.
You don't see me beating my child. It's the linebackers. Eat your heart out, Adrian Peterson.
I beat my child before they even come out of the womb.
I'm gonna give him Skittles before he's got teeth.
Hopefully he doesn't choke to death. I'll mash him into baby food. All right. So, I guess we should have a proper changing of it once the regular season is over, which is this week, right? This is the last week of the regular season.
Once the bracket's all set up and the seating, because this was our guess from several weeks ago. So I mean, there was a lot of games writing on who even got into the playoffs, let alone where they were going to be seated at. So we'll have to redo this anyways. But this was our prediction, and we'll see how close our prediction was when we get to the final deal. And as far as offense goes, we were talking about that. So league leaders, Drew Brees is still the hottest quarterback. What the hell?
Was that just for 1 week?
No, this is for leagues or the season so far.
Oh my god. I just wanted to see the Lions, how the Lions offense was rated. But that's okay. We don't need to worry about that. We don't need to be hung up on that anymore. I think we're done talking about playoff picture. Let's just talk about some other individual points. One thing I wanted to bring up was head coaches. Whose head coaches do you think will be fired? What team do you think needs to fire their head coach in the offseason? I'll give you one. I'll give you one.
Be gone.
Huh? Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan. And
yeah, I agree with that.
And who's ever coaching the Giants? Because they've got a stacked freaking.
It's still Coughlin, isn't it? It's still Tom Coughlin, right?
I don't think so. We're talking about the guy that Harbaugh patted on the back too hard last season.
That was the Lions. That was the Lions coach. That was 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But Tom Coughlin is the fucking. If you saw a picture of him, you'd know exactly what he looks like.
It's kind of looks like Dracula.
Yeah, I'll pull a picture of him. But yeah, I agree. Rex Ryan should probably go. I mean, he hasn't been able to pull anything off with the tools the Jets have given him, And it's not. I don't really feel like they've been hamstringing him or anything like that. I really just feel like he's struggling to find good roster moves. Tom Coughlin. All right. Now,
being a 49ers fan, as far as...
You know him?
Oh, yeah.
Let me see if I can...
Can you see his rosy cheeks?
Ah! Oh, man.
I'm not getting paid enough.
We should, at the end of the season, we should give, the year-end awards to, most hilarious coach or, most hilarious player or, most badass player or something like that. We should, come up with a bunch of little categories and just, do a little awards show at the very end of the year.
Can have a Mr. Congeniality kind of thing.
That would probably be Russell Wilson, in my opinion.
Good sportsmanship award, bad sportsmanship award.
Exactly, stuff like that. We'll think about it later. But
Who should be a player instead of a coach? Jim Harbaugh.
Who should be a coach instead of a player? Peyton Manning.
Yep.
But, okay, so we're on coaches for just a second longer. So,
Do you want to bring up Jim Harbaugh?
we're talking about coaches that should or should not be fired, and you tell me why.
Jim Harbaugh should not be fired. That would be an absolute ridiculous move by the 49ers because Jim Harbaugh is a badass. If he could get a new offensive coordinator, because I'm on that bandwagon. I know a lot of people are giving unfair criticism to Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for the 49ers. Well, I think it's all justified. He's done a very lousy job with their offense this entire year. And even though it's not all his fault, he might have won a few more games if it weren't for all the injuries. But with the roster that the 49ers started off with this season and all the injured players and suspended players that were all coming back midway through the season, the 49ers shouldn't have lost a game this season.
Yeah, where it seems like they were just waiting. It seemed like they were just waiting for their time to actually like go full on, like go 100% and like throttle through to the end of the season.
And by the time they started doing that, it was too late.
Yeah, like when the middle of the season hit and it's like, okay, the 49ers are going to start picking up a little bit of momentum here and they're going to settle down, settle into their groove and then win some games. That's exactly when they started doing the worst. Like in the middle of the season, they were getting edged out just by a little bit by every single team.
Yep.
Like, and it was all the second half. It was all the fucking second half.
Yeah, and this entire season, I saw him score monster amounts of points the first half, and then just lose it the rest of the half. I mean, it was just silly. And then against the Chargers, I saw a team that looked like it was trying to come together, even though it was too late. We weren't going to make the playoffs. It looked like the entire team was playing really well from all sides of the ball, and even special teams was doing the best they've done all year. The offensive line was stepping up and protecting Kaepernick. Kaepernick actually had more than a half a second to throw the ball. And guess what? He did a great job. He made good decisions. He made good throws. He threw the ball away when he was supposed to throw the ball away. He handed it off when he was supposed to hand it off. He ran when he needed to run, and he made good decisions then too. And then the two starters that we finally got back on the offensive line got injured. We lost Mike Lopati again. We lost Jonathan Martin, our third-string center. We lost two of our key defensive guys. So we lost Eric Reed and Parrish Cox, both cornerbacks. Or no, Eric Reed's a safety. But either way, they're in charge of defending the pass. Mm-hmm. And Phillip Rivers is pretty dangerous when you don't have anybody to defend his throws.
Sure.
But in any case, the 49ers had some hope. So with all of these backups, this entire roster is almost all backups right now. So if all these badass backups are... or these starters right now, these backups that are starters now and are doing this well, if there are backups next season with all of our starters coming back, like Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman, with as healthy as our roster is going to be, plus we've got like 11 draft picks we get to shore up our offensive line with. Mm-hmm. Bruce Ellington is showing signs of becoming one of the new badasses in the league. I don't know. If you fire Harbaugh now, you're going to ruin your best chance to win a Super Bowl next season. If you get a new offensive coordinator, great. The team could probably use it. Or keep him. Fuck, I don't care. Well, let a fire at his ass and tell him to do better.
But you do think that the main problem is in the coaching and it's not in like individual players? I think the main problem is
injuries. Hands down injuries. Because even the players that are starting are hurt. They're just playing anyway because the guy behind them sucks. So, but yes.
But you don't think that even, like, okay, so yeah, they're injured and stuff. But you don't think that, like, the fact that these games can get so close and then be lost because of, like, just by a small margin, you think that is because of injury? Do you think it's because of a lack of good coaching?
I think with the depleted roster, I think the coaching that we had was the reason why we won any games. Though there's a lot of games that we lost because they mishandled the offense, which is why I'm on the that's why I think Greg Roman should be on the chopping block. I don't think he's that great of an offensive coordinator. I never have. Even the years that, because first of all, the reason why I like Harbaugh, because he took a 3-12 or 3-13 team and turned them into, and they got them to the NFC Championship, then to the Super Bowl, and then to the NFC Championship again. I like him, but all those years it was our defense scoring most of our points for us. Our defense and our running game.
Yeah. Let me go off on a little tangent, and you tell me if you agree or not. So, I brought up the point that, like, the 49ers are way better in the first half than the second half. And I've seen it, like, so many times where they go up by, like, 10, 15, 20 points. in the first half, and then they get like outscored completely in the third quarter. So there was some like almost retarded stat where they like got outscored by like 150 points over the season in the third quarter or something like that.
Yeah, it might be the fourth quarter. I think we were only averaging like 7 points a game in the second half.
Yeah.
For the season.
So one thing that I'm wondering, because it's the offense in the second half that's killing them, and I'm wondering if what happens is they like do something that works in the first half, like say they're like very run focused and it's working. I wonder if they go into the locker room and say the run's working, keep running, and then the other team goes into the locker room and says, gotta like step it up, put extra men on the front line, defend the run, and then so they come back out and now your running thing doesn't work anymore. So your plan of let's keep running the ball, just keep pounding away, that's not working. Instead, go into the locker room and say, run's working great. They're going to be looking for the run now from like the beginning of the third quarter to the very end of the game. Let's do the read option. Let's like mix it up. Like, I don't know what it, like, that's just like one thing that I can throw out there to say, and I don't know how true that is. It's just me like speculating about like what it could possibly be. But like, there has to be a reason that they're so bad in the second half, and so like they're pretty good in the first half. Sometimes the defense scores the points. Okay, I get that. But like the fact that they can't get anything done with the ball on the second half, I don't know why, but I feel like it has to be a coaching thing. I don't think it's the players, because the players themselves have, you know, they've done enough to show you that there could be like the wins that they needed that were within, you know, 10 points, 7 points, 6 points. Those wins could have been achieved with the players that they had at their disposal. I really feel like if the coaching maybe was a little different, and if they had all their players, fuck, they could have like been in the playoffs right now.
And you're probably right. Those games that we lost in the second half was a combination of a lot of things. It was a perfect storm of everything. And for a long time, it was exactly like you're saying. The opponent, the 49ers were facing, adjusted the second half and took out the game plan, which was Kaepernick trying to throw and not doing the read option because they wanted to develop a passing quarterback. Well, it would backfire on him, and he would suck because the other team adjusted, because their offense was so vanilla. I don't remember which 49er it was, but they were interviewing somebody about the schemes. I want to say it was either McDonald, or it could have been Anquan Bolden, but they were talking about how vanilla the offense, how basic the offense was that Roman had set out. Mm-hmm. And basic defense has been winning games, so, you know, just doing bad at us on the fundamentals. But on the offense, what they were trying to do wasn't working. And instead of reverting back to the read option like you were saying, or at least switching it up at the half, instead they waited until the second Seahawks game before they ran the second read option play of the season. Mm-hmm. And when they were doing a lot of that, a lot of Kaepernick running, a lot of Frank Gore running, a lot of Carlos Hyde running, we were beating the Seahawks until Carlos Hyde and Frank Gore both got injured. The Seahawks game and the Chargers, it seems like the coaching finally started getting out of control, and they finally had a system down. They finally had a way to turn the other teams adapting to the second half, turning it on them, and then we suffered some key injuries in the wrong spots.
Sure.
And just the combination of all those things, the 49ers had a rough freaking season.
You know what? I think the number one change that needs to be made in the 49ers in the offseason is they get all the players together, and then Jim Harbaugh, like, because he didn't get his contract terminated for whatever reason, he stands up in front of them and says, "Boys, I know this season's been rough. We've had a lot of injuries, but we're making some revolutionary changes with how we do the game." And he pulls out something. He reaches behind him and he pulls up this big bottle, and he's like, "This is a thing of multivitamins. You all need to start taking 2 of these a day, every single day, but with your food. That way, we don't get so many fucking injuries next year."
Starting right now. An offensive line, guys, look over here. This is called a treadmill. You need to use it.
Get those legs nice and strong. We will be doing
stamina up.
mandatory yoga 3 times a week, so you can be a little bit more flexible.
Yeah, I'm tired of my quarterback getting sacked 6 times in the second half. Get you some exercise in.
But coach, my belly's so large, I can't hardly move it around by the second half, for God's sakes.
4 months ago, you told me to eat extra pasta so I could be heavier and stop these guys.
Now I got more weight, but my legs are still the same strength.
Yeah.
That's why you're getting on a treadmill, you fat ass.
Yeah, we've also got a whole roster full of veterans that are probably about to retire. But if Harbaugh stays, I think Frank Gore should stay. I think Anquan Bolden and Stevie Johnson should all stay. Even though I would love to see some quick, fast receivers, I just love Anquan Bolden. I'm so glad we have him on our team.
Okay, so if you saw Harbaugh leave, where would you want him to go? What's your like fantasy?
I don't want to play.
You want him to go back to college?
Yeah, if he plays for the Raiders, then the Raiders are going to start beating the 49ers every time they play each other.
I don't know about that, but
I can handle losing to the Raiders once, but I don't know if I can handle losing to them every game.
Good point.
But no, I don't know. For Harbaugh's sake,
no, I'm saying like if you could put Harbaugh on any team in the league.
You know what? The Raiders. I think that'd be the best spot for him because the Raiders have a lot of talent, and even though they won't win a Super Bowl next year, they probably won't even get to the NFC Championship even with Harbaugh. But they've got a really good team, and they can make the playoffs for the first time in a long time, and they can have a really good record. I believe that. And I believe Harbaugh's good enough to develop Carr, and also for Harbaugh and his family. Right now, they're in San Francisco, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, San Diego's sort of a hop, or Oakland is sort of a hop, skip, and a jump away from there, right? So, if you're going to be coaching the Raiders, at least you don't have to move. You get to stay in California.
No, that's true. I don't know. I think that if he does move, he's probably going to the Raiders.
It's either the Raiders or Michigan.
So let me give like a little like rant here. So people may wonder, okay, so there's like Jim Harbaugh, you could not say that guy was an unsuccessful coach. That guy was a very successful coach, did what he did. And he hasn't gotten fired yet, so I'm talking like he has. But, like, people may wonder, like, okay, well, this coach is doing really good. Look at the Niners. What are they, 8-8 right now or something like that?
If they beat the Cardinals this Sunday, they'll be 8-8.
Okay. He's like, well, this guy's 8-8. Look at this guy with the coach is the Titans. They're like 2-14 right now. 2-13. And the reason isn't really that simple, but it has to do with the way that the league is set up. Not every team can be the best team. Some teams have to be at the bottom. Some teams have to give up losses. And those teams at the bottom, maybe they'll get their shit together and like have a good season. Like they'll make the right decisions over time to actually like overtake these better teams. But you can't have everybody with an equal setup at all times. If every team was 8-8 at the end of the season, that would be the most boring fucking shit ever. You know, the teams that are at the bottom are there because there's a necessity for teams to be in the league that don't necessarily have a chance to go, 10-6 or 12-4. Like those teams that are 4-12, those teams that are 3-13 have to exist for the league to like actually be balanced and like have a dynamic where it's like teams can improve. And, like, the draft changes and adjusts for that. But, like, you may think, oh, the Oakland Raider coach, he sucks ass. But maybe he's not even that bad. Like, or maybe that's a bad example. Maybe he's pretty shitty, possibly. But you look at, let's see, what's another one? Like, the Rams coach. The Rams didn't do so, like, they were pretty good. But they were, like, bottom of the league, bottom half of the league. And you can't honestly say that the Rams coach sucks ass because his team didn't have a fucking winning season. I'm sorry. His team
just happens to be in the hardest division of football, or was supposed to be. It turns out it's
but yeah,
AFC.
So don't think that it's unfair if Harbaugh's getting fired even though his team had like maybe his team went 50-50 in the season.
Yeah, for the first time in Harbaugh's career, his team's going to go 8-8, and yet Sean Payton with the Saints, who's not only not make the playoffs, but are going to finish the season like 6-10 probably. He's going to keep his job because of...
I don't know why. I don't know why he would keep his job.
He's got a ring, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. He will, because everybody loves him in that area of the country. But all right. Well, thank you for watching. I think that's it for sports.
I don't want to talk about sports anymore either, so we're good. Shenanigans it is.
All right. So,
but one of these days we got to check out some cheerleaders and find out which team's got the hottest cheerleaders. It used to always be Dallas, but nobody's actually checked on that this year.
nobody's actually. Yeah, we could do that with the year-end awards. We can have we find 10 each, 10 hot cheerleaders each, and save little pictures of them, and then we can be like, oh, we can pull them up in front.
Oh, where'd you find that girl? Well, I got the same chick. Yeah, like our cheerleader fantasy team.
Yes, cheerleader fantasy league. That sounds like a great idea. All right, so let me go ahead and rescale these back down for some shenanigans action. Oh baby, 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 baby. Now we're gonna get flagged for copyright. Alrighty, so.
Nope, I think you have to hit
Yeah, you gotta hit the right notes there, Lauren.
You were
Fuck
on
you.
Key. You weren't on key.
Oh,
No, but it
what's
was
going
also
on here?
Right, for the record, there's no way I could have done better than that. So I'm teasing him for no reason other than to make myself look foolish.
No, does he have a high
Is it broken?
I think we're having some technical difficulties. I can't seem to get the video playlist to pop up, and that's the only way I know of to control it right now. So we're gonna go ahead and kill the stream here, unfortunately. But we'll be back in a couple minutes with some shenanigans, or it'll be on the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody.